Hey, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Drew back again with another video for all you soccer fans out there. And in this one, we've got quite a few topics to talk about. We got to talk about Ramos, Pulisic, and then of course the Under-17 World Cup, where the USA finally played its first game today. So without further ado, let's get to it. So let's start off with what I think to be the biggest news. Let's go ahead and start off talking about Ramos being appointed the new head coach of Houston Dynamo for the new 2020 season of MLS. This actually was very surprising, but not too surprising. Ramos did come out and say, he was quoted saying that he would like to take over an MLS team in the future one day. He feels like his time in U.S. soccer has run its course, and that's kind of disappointing because I feel like he maybe was possibly waiting out for the chance to coach the senior team, which I 100% would back up to the fullest, because he has been very successful with the youth teams of the USA national teams. Bring them to 3 quarterfinals in tournaments, like back-to-back, like well, one of the only countries to ever do that. I just felt like him being able to be part of the senior national team, like as the head coach, would be a great idea. But maybe since now it looks like Greg Berhalter is freaking cemented as that head coach for USA Soccer, unfortunately, it looks like maybe, he's thinking, yeah, I think it's just my time to go ahead and coach an MLS team, because, he can't wait around forever for the USA to fire Berhalter and maybe think about hiring him, Ramos. So I don't blame him for really, jumping ship and going and trying something new and trying to advance his career even more. Fun fact about Ramos, he was actually the first player signed in the MLS season, in its inaugural season ever. So he was the first ever player signed to an MLS team when he was signed to the Metro Stars. So that's cool fact for you guys over there. As for him being appointed as Houston Dynamo manager, I think that is kind of a strange choice, but why not? Houston Dynamo, that's obviously in need of some new thought process, some new tactics, some new life in its team to go ahead and really, get back into becoming a better team. They finished 10th place this past season, 8 points off the playoff spot. So I feel like maybe with Ramos, I think, like I've said before, I think he's a really good manager. He hasn't really coached club level, I don't think, at least professionally. But don't quote me if I'm wrong. But that's what I'm pretty sure he has not coached professionally at a club level. So it's gonna be nice to see him transfer his state of mind and tactics that he uses for the national team, youth teams, into a professional, MLS team. I'm really excited to see him play. Really excited to see how Houston Dynamo play under Ramos, and hopefully maybe if he becomes successful in his first season in MLS with Houston Dynamo, maybe then USA will be like, yo, we fucked up big time. We need Ramos as our main dude. What the f did we do with Greg Berhalter? Next up, of course, we got to talk about Pulisic, little Captain America for us over there in London, absolutely tearing it up. The other day, I think as of today, it was yesterday. So yesterday, he when he played for Chelsea against Burnley, away from home of all places, he went on and scored a first half hat trick. How I was watching the game, I was like, all right, Pulisic, 1 goal. First of all, I was excited that he was even started this game, because he has had his issues breaking into the lineup under Frank Lampard there at Chelsea. A lot of people consider, give him a loan move, get him out, maybe give him a transfer in January. But I think, Frank Lampard was kind of not planning this, but I think he kind of thought this would happen. He knows Christian Pulisic is a great player. He knows he's hungry to prove himself here in the big leagues, the Premier League. He wants to be one of the best young American players ever. And he wants to prove that to the world. So I feel like Frank Lampard really benched him a lot, and really I think by benching him that much, Frank Lampard made Christian Pulisic even hungrier. And obviously with being unsuccessful with the national team with USA recently this past summer, going into Chelsea and being on the bench and just not starting games, not getting the chance to show yourself, really made Christian Pulisic hungrier to prove himself even more. And the second he got a chance, he started this game, went on and scored a fucking hat trick, bro. And Burnley is no easy team. I know people think, just because they just got into the Premier League like 2 or 3 seasons ago, I think they've done well in those seasons that they have been in the Premier League. I'd say they're a good mid-table team. They're nowhere near, I think, the relegation type of teams down there, but they're not like Southampton right now, who are losing 9-0 at home. Burnley is a pretty solid team, and I'm very impressed, very happy, and relieved that Christian Pulisic has gone there and really shown himself. He was making headlines, like everyone was tweeted about him, like he was trending on Twitter. It was insane, and like it was well deserved too. Really happy for Christian Pulisic. I hope this momentum carries with him into all other tournaments that he plays with Chelsea, and hopefully into the national team as well when that time comes again. But Greg Berhalter there, it ain't gonna work. Last topic we're going to talk about today, guys, of course, the Under-17 World Cup, where the USA is currently playing in. They played their first game today, and they scored one of the earliest goals ever scored in an Under-17 World Cup, or maybe just any World Cup at all. But that was scored by Sporting Kansas City's Buzio. But after that one goal they scored, they went ahead and conceded 4 goals and end up losing that game 4-1 against Senegal. They're in a pretty tough group. Now it's even tougher now that they lost a game against Senegal. The Group D, Senegal, Japan, Netherlands, and USA. Obviously, we know the Netherlands have a great youth system, so I really can go ahead and say that I think the Netherlands are going to be probably the group leaders, or probably the best team in that group. I also want to go ahead and think, I believe Senegal had a pretty good Under-20 World Cup as well, so it would make sense that their Under-17s also do pretty well there. And not too familiar with Japan's youth squad, but actually think about it, I'm not really too familiar with anybody's Under-17 squad, because that's very young. I think a lot of people mostly follow the Under-20s because some players there are more well known, especially at club level. But USA's got to go ahead and win against Japan and Netherlands next, so hopefully they can turn the tournament around. Yeah, I mean, that's all I can say. I was disappointed that they lost 4-1, but get your head in the game. Speaking of youth national teams, that got me thinking. Tab Ramos, like we all know, he was the Under-20 head coach for U.S. Soccer, but now that he's gone on to another path in his career, that's getting me thinking a little worried. Like, who's going to take over now that he's gone? He was appointed, I believe, by around the Jurgen Klinsmann era, like in 2011. So he's been there for almost 10 years, okay? He's built something there. He's kind of structured something. He's, helped lots of young players blossom into the players they are today. And it really gets me thinking, who's going to take over Tab Ramos' spot? Because if they're going to go ahead and choose someone like Greg Berhalter, then we are definitely even more screwed than we were now. Because now our youth teams are going to be freaking messed up. They're not going to be, raised right. They're not going to be, what is that? They're not going to reach their full potential as they could have with someone like Tab Ramos at the helm there, helping these kids develop. They're not going to reach their full development. And that's kind of fucking scary, because we already are in need of good, better, younger talent out there. And if we have someone like Greg Berhalter take over the Under-20s, like, his brother and everybody, like Ernie Stewart, all in like this like big bromance, they want to protect each other. So I can just see them bringing another one of their bros and ruining the Under-20s that Tab Ramos has worked so hard on and had so much success with. So that is very, very scary to think about. And I really, really hope that Tab Ramos is replaced by someone of Tab Ramos' nature, someone good, someone who actually gives a fuck and actually knows what the hell they're doing tactically. That's it. I don't want to get too angry. But anyway, that's all I got for you guys today. Please let me know your thoughts on any of these topics down below. As always, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for kicking with me. Don't forget to subscribe, be part of the change here to help USA, just to help soccer grow here in USA. I'll see you next time. Don't forget to watch the playoffs. Peace.